bên này địa tê yêu chủ yếu mấy tổ chức nó tụ quan niệm bự mà mua mì ở đó nè để sẽ tụ chủ yếu tổ chức mua đấy đó第二大是呢人们听到耶稣讲茶人听到路比萨我讨厌莫些了就莫叫了莫非常的话主แล้วจะมาฝากเขาการลูกคนจัวว่าเยซูตัวเสาลูกพ่อจัวลูกพ่อจัวตั้งเยซูจันชาทอเยซูตัวหลังก้อนเดจันชันจ้ามุป้องตัวลูกพิซานเดแล้วมุข้าตัวลูกพิซานแล้วปอกกัดเตเปรปอกเขาจะเยซูตัวแล้วเดี๋ยวจันชันเอาไปเยซูจันชันชาเจี๊ยบแล้วจะมุกัวยันชันให้แล้วเดี๋ยวยันชันให้เยอะจุดป้อนเลยสิสิแล้วจะมากัวเยซูจิมัวจีเยซูจีจิมัวอย่าปล่อยเลยเนี่ยจันทราแต่สิจะปล่อยเลยที่จันทราวันวันหนึ่งโมงเข้าต่อขอทบุญเก่าลูพิซซ่าคือเจ้าวันจุดลูกองการเดอในปุถุที่เยซูจันทราในเสด็จจันทราเดอจะหมดตัวต่อlaboratory แต่พวกกลัวคดีเลยฮัตตาว่าเยซูจีอะไรต่าง
Dried blood is dead blood. Everybody knows that, all right? They can test the blood of the pharaohs, the mummies of the pharaohs, all right? There's certain things they can do. They cannot get a chromosome count by any method I'm familiar with, all right? Things keep changing. I don't profess to know everything. However, there's no way I know that you can get a chromosome count out of dead blood. You can get a DNA and some other things, but not a chromosome count, all right? That's done by living white blood cells. Now then, first of all, in this analysis, I took the blood into a laboratory in Israel. I asked one of the people I work with in antiquities, where is a good laboratory that does reliable work? And they said, such and such, such and such. I took it. I just said, please examine this blood and tell me what you can tell me about it. All right? They said, well, look, we're going to reconstitute it. We're going to put it in normal saline and keep it at body temperature for 72 hours with gentle swirling. All right? That's their business. That's great. I said, now I want to be there when you check it out. They said, fine. So I was back. They checked it out. I said, now, they said it's human blood. We can tell that. They did whatever tests they need to do. And then I said, take some of the white blood cells and put them in a growth medium and keep them at body temperature for 48 hours. And they said, well, that'll do no good because it's dead blood. I said, would you please do that for me? And they said, okay, we'll do it. So anyway, I said, I want to be there when you take it out and examine it. So I was back there. They took it out, examined it under a microscope, and the one technician called the other one over there, and then they called the boss over there, and they were talking Hebrew a mile a minute there for a little bit, and they looked at me and they said, Mr. Wyatt, this human blood only has 24 chromosomes in it. Everybody else has 46. You see, 23 from your mother, 23 from your father, 22 autosomes from your mother, 22 autosomes from your father. You get an X from your mother, you may get an X or a Y from your father, all right? This blood had 23 chromosomes from the mother's side, one Y chromosome only. You see, the child could not have developed if they hadn't had the autosomes from the mother. So all of his physical characteristics were determined by his mother's side of the family, her autosomes. His maleness was determined by this one Y that came from the source, not a human male. Then they said, this blood is alive. And then they said, whose blood is this? I said, it's the blood of your Messiah. And I assure you, those men's lives have changed.
Blood of Christ is only cried out, folks. It's not dead. When we rehydrated it with normal saline, 72 hours of body temperature with slight, very gentle swirling, and put the white blood cells in a growth medium, 48 hours later, we did a chromosome count. I didn't. This was in Israel. It has 24 chromosomes only. All of us here have 46. Unless, there's a couple of genetic anomalies that make that different. But Christ received 23 from his mother and 1 Y, sex determining factor, from his father, who was not a human father. Because had he received that from a human father, it would have been accompanied by 22 autosomes. Now what this basically means is that his height, his eye color, his hair color, and all of this was supplied from the genes of his mother's gene pool. However, Mary and Joseph both descended from David, but none of us have 24 chromosomes. Well, they knew. They told me before when I asked them to perform this investigation, that dried blood, you can't get a chromosome count on it, because the white blood cells have to be alive and well in order to do that. You can get DNA, you can get some other things, but you can't have a chromosome count. So this blood is unique, and it is Christ's blood.
Leviticus 17:14 informs us that the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Once again, scientists are finding out that the truths of Scripture are far more literal than they ever imagined. Tiny particles have been discovered in blood that are seemingly indestructible. These tiny particles are less than 1/10 of a micron in size, and while they cannot be seen using standard medical microscopes, new methods of microscopy have been developed, which makes it possible to see them in their living state. The French scientist Gaston Naessens designed special microscope components that would allow him to see these particles, which he entitled somatids, meaning the body that creates. Through experimentation, Professor Naessens found that these somatids contain genetic material yet to be fully understood by the scientific community. They are polymorphic in nature, growing from stage to stage, and are unaffected by high temperatures, extremely toxic chemicals, or even nuclear radiation. Professor Naessens believes these somatids to be subcellular living and reproducing entities, the precursor of DNA, and that they may be the building blocks of life. About 6 years ago, I learned about these particles as a result of some research that I was conducting, which was totally non-related to archaeology. At that time, I was using a standard medical microscope, and while I could not see these particles, I knew they had to be there. I began to develop my own microscope patterned after the design of Professor Naessens. What you see behind me is that microscope in its latest stage of development. The microscope employs an extremely bright xenon or mercury light source, which can be combined with tungsten light. The light is directed across the microscopic specimen rather than on or through it in what is known as a dark field configuration. The light reflecting off the object is transmitted through the microscope and is magnified over 1,000 times. The image is then captured by a sensitive CCD camera and transmitted to a monitor for viewing at screen magnifications of up to 30,000x. Under these conditions, the tiny living particles can plainly be seen against a dark background. In 1996, my family and I made a trip to Nashville to visit the Wyatts. I brought along the microscope, which at that time was somewhat portable in its early stage of development, and set it up in the basement of the Wyatt's house. One evening, Mary Nell Wyatt asked me to take a look at some material from a burial cave to see if these tiny particles were present. Without my knowledge, one of the samples was actually the blood sample that Ron had taken from the Ark of the Covenant dig. The sample was placed under the microscope, and as the specimen began to come into focus,
hôm nay nhá mà lo hay là nếu chủ lên nè nếu chủ môn này có được chromosome lên gì chủ môn này có được chromosome lên gì do Y lên nè do X nó chế do X thế Y ok nó chế do mi tu giờ lên gì do X lên nè do X nên chỉ là miễn phải. Giờ lên nào, giờ có bao nhiêu tiền, mình làm miễn tu, nếu chúng muốn lên gì, mình chỉ là lên từ để chúng chế tạo lên cho tiền này. Thế thì thằng nó mua Yexus chẳng phải cho nó qua. Yexus có tiền này mua ít đồ hoài, thế thì lên nhà sa, mình nên có từ chromosome theo một từ F. Là thì ông nên biết thế chỉ một gì chỉ một mình nhở để khi mà biết chỉ bỏ hết thì tu nó chẳng trả nè chỉ bỏ lên gì sa bỏ tu hoài sự chỉ bỏ cho không một số nên có tu để lên gì sa liền để khi bỏ lên địa sa tu nó lên gì chỉ nên biết thế nè lên gì nên còn đủ là thiết thật là quan là Yexus chẳng trả chỉ chia sẻ chỉ tuôn bao nhiêu Chúa Yexus hay địa cố要做些chẳng trả都到二千的凶了活打都打了但是我家他了叫了么过chẳng trả chỉ kia人也里就能接chẳng trả kia là địa tu mà chẳng trả chỉ多呢你讲啥钱？这好多职业是要做些，讲到那么的要啥车板车刀，那点车的也是要挖出的店里，你这样能的店里呗，要你弄呢，别叫问他挖出啥呢？别到开上那都舍得包，哎呀舍得3000挖出2000，舍得1000了，样的有，这好。只要给单子啊，但是莫那他们的人家上学到车保的是，我知道路还是真，那的也是多的时候都看到了，我知道路的一个来的个路环教，那的都也是要挖住，这个这个路写的也是多的时候到了的，也挖住要啥个路子，所以都来现在有的主要是。我觉得波动的我觉得一都没有，我觉得把桥的人要什么结成，可能有一个真正不还得被一种方式的，还得个人真耶稣的真正不成，铁怎么用的是的，是的3000了刀，这3000了鸟的有，来点汤，用的在有，用的多做些，多啥的大事，今年那样路。注意，那孩子寂寞，一个竞争了，个骨头噻，还得我觉得，我没得点，要没得点了，他个黑骨，个骨包的没法觉得点哩，一个骨头的真正的骨头去帮助他，一个他我觉得的，到耶稣论背，我觉得黑高，我觉得路高。这个要包的没法住的，要你呢，侬呢，别叫我去到包法住店里，这真正的没法住呢，因好叫路呢，因这还的，要没法住的，这他搞不包，这个包的没法住的搞不正正，我住没注意，有我的也个包，这个包。我的个多，个的先真耶稣。别忙着别我讲，别的别这些的他别多的别么他贴子了的，到了有多贴子，那就啥个了他贴嘛，还的要用最用的呢， 人用啥有着了他太多，人用就没会起见的，人用只要都只能点点呢，人用就啥个着了他太一少的，人用要都多高点啥个没当都干是，一切都要有少啊，没当等的有少，也少啥的看了，有少，让人用是。我就只要有少的，我就知道啥个了，看了有那的，有一少，这多一少，这自己大了的。原来呢，别有我老我呢，等你我就到路去啊，要别真正的主耶稣，别去理解，别着急，都是公年母一切子，只多，过去这多年母一次的，可能要好啊。别讲真耶稣，别报可能，别真理的，别贴片呢。他话就放公门中呢，啥的叫问他话就到路路上。